How we doing, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of FSI's NHL DFS preview show. I'm your host, TK Nation 47. Typically, you will see McKinley, but every once in a while, I'm going to help with the share the load here for the NHL content on the season, helping you provide cores and video breakdowns throughout the year. Off to a great start in the NHL season. Last night, a couple $100 in profit for myself. I believe it was 120, but won over $300. Had probably too much Matthews in the 20 entry max, but I had a decent amount of Drostidel and McDavid, which very much appreciate that comeback late into the wee hours of the morning. All right, so we are here talking the 10-13 slate. It is October 13th. And we have a 10-game slate here just to talk a little bit about some of the heavy favorites. We have Pittsburgh, a heavy favorite, minus 420 with a 6.5 point total. We have Vegas minus 365 with a 6.5 point total. And Toronto with minus 205 favorite with a 6.5 total. Those are going to be some of your more popular games. Some of your better cash plays, cash stacks are going to be in those builds. With those teams. There's a couple other notable over-unders of 6.5. Calgary and Colorado. We know Colorado just played last night, home game for Calgary, so we could see a lot of shots on goal for the Flames today. Whether they go in or not, a different story. We got Ottawa and Buffalo. McKinley's Buffalo Sabres, 6.5 total here, but it's a plus 100 underdog for his Sabres. So going to be a pretty tight contested matchup between those two teams. It should be a fun one. All right, we're going to break this down position by position. I'm going to give you a couple of cool plays, some top plays, some cash thoughts, some GPP thoughts, some stacks that I like, and then we're going to get out of here. I'm going to try to keep it short, keep your time precious, as it's already halfway through the day. We only got 5 hours to go, so give this a like and a comment below when you have the chance. Let's get through it. Obviously, you can go Austin Matthews and Nate McKinnon in any slate. I don't think that's silly to do that in cash with either one. Preferably like Matthews in this matchup versus Washington. I'll talk and I'll just roll this into one of my favorite centers and one of my favorite GPP stacks. That is the Toronto 2. But I do like Matthews as well, as with that top power play unit. Washington, just got destroyed, and it looks like they're struggling defensively, and now they're on a back-to-back, and we got a home matchup for Matthews. And I like Tavares as well. Jonathan Tavares at 6,200. Yesterday we saw the Boston second line go for 2 goals and 6 assists versus that Washington line 2. So I don't mind Tavares in this matchup. You can pair him up with Nylander and Malgin. Both players scored yesterday. Tavares being in on those assists. So I really like that GPP line right there of Toronto 2. I also like Jack Eichel. Close your ears, McKinley. Vegas center here, Jack Eichel, 6,300 is a silly price tag. This is your cash center. This is where you start your lineup for cash games. 7 shots on goal, 1 goal, 1 block in that matchup versus LA. Just really did amazing in that first matchup, and now he's going to get a soft matchup versus Chicago. Colorado put up a ton of shots on net last night versus that same Blackhawk team. Either going from Colorado to Vegas, it's not a fun start for the Blackhawks. And I think Eichel and any player on Vegas is definitely live. I don't think that's going to be a secret, but we have just a misprice with Vegas across the board in a very, very good matchup. And I think you start Jack Eichel. Cash games, you could even fit Eichel with one of these studs if you wanted to go, punt defense. And I'll tell you a different kind of way to stack Vegas later on. But yeah, you want to play him with Riley Smith or Pietrangelo, I think are your best options for Vegas. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about a value center here. I like Anze Kopitar at 4,900 versus Seattle. Seattle gave up a ton of shots on goal yesterday to the they had a lot of shots on goal, but they also gave up 4 goals from the third period on to lose in overtime. And I think Anze Kopitar in that 4.49 slot is going to have a really, really, really inflated ownership because of the players that he's skating with too. I think Fiala and Kempe are 2 really good wingers to go with Anze Kopitar. In that first matchup versus Vegas on Tuesday, he had an assist, 1 shot on goal, 2 blocks. He can kind of do it all from that center positions. I don't think his price tag's high enough. If you look at some of the guys around him here, I think you could go Stützle. That's not bad. Barzal, it's a tough matchup. Hayes, he's a second line center with, I'm not sure if he's on a power play. Sagan, I don't like the Dallas-Nashville matchup. Hershire, I think he just went on the IR. Denault is the second line center to that same LA team. So it just looks like he sticks out to me in that spot where the centers are. All right, we're going wings. Just to quickly start out, as I said, I like Nylander to go with Tavares, and I like Fiala to go with Anze. But at the top, I think it's all Getzel. Getzel just crushed last year, just absolutely crushed. Look at, 48 goals, 46 assists. I mean, the guy was a madman last year, and he's got that soft matchup with Arizona at home. This is just a cupcake matchup for Getzel. I think him and Sid are actually, they could come in surprisingly lower owned than people think because of some of the Vegas numbers that we see. And you still have Toronto on the slate. You still have Colorado, Mikko Rantanen. You still have a lot of big names on the slate. So there's a good chance Pittsburgh's around the 10% range. I like that for GBPs. I like Getzel. And I think it's going to be either Rust or Raquel on that first line. I believe it Raquel. But yeah, Getzel, a really strong play at that price tag, 7,800. Guy can put up 3 goals in a flinch. Next up, I do like Brady Tkachuk. Sorry, McKinley. I think this is a high volume shot opportunity for Tkachuk for Ottawa. Man, just 30 goals, 37 assists, did really well last year. He's skating with Stützle and Batherson. They really started to come on last year. I think he's a very solid play for shots on goal. They even added Giroux, the Ottawa Senators. So there's some power play upside with this team. Man, it's going to be tough for Craig Anderson to really stop this group, but I do like Brady Tkachuk for some shots on goal with goal upside. Next up, we have our value winger of the slate. Going all the way down here, we're going to go talk about Mark Stone, overtime winner against the LA Kings, or game. I think it might have. I'm not sure if it was an overtime winner or not, but I know he hit the game winning goal. He had 1 goal, 4 shots on goal, 4.3K. Yes, he's on the second line. He's not skating with Eichel, but he's on that first power play unit. Chicago gave up 4 power play goals yesterday. I don't see that slowing down today. I like the intricate stack of Jack Eichel, Mark Stone, and Pietrangelo to get that combination, that power play combination. You can also use Chandler Stevenson in that same power play stack as well, as he skates on that first power play unit, and he's also 4,500. I think that's just an interesting way to be different with a heavy favorite like Vegas. You get those kind of value plays in, and you also have the opportunity to pay up at another high total like Pittsburgh. So you could get Pittsburgh and Vegas with just this intricate way of stacking it with Mark Stone, Chandler Stevenson, Mark Stone, and Pietrangelo, or excuse me, Shea Theodore. Shea Theodore is on the top power play unit for Vegas. Pietrangelo's on line 2 for that power play unit, but I like Pietrangelo with Riley Smith and Eichel just from a 5-on-5 perspective. But yeah, you go Stone, Stevenson, Theodore, and Eichel. That's a fun power play stack for Vegas, and I think it could be a very big one to help pay off some of those higher salaries on the slate. All right, moving on. Next, we have the defenders going all the way back up to the top here. I think your only cash play, not only, but your main cash play here is Pietrangelo. I've been referring to him throughout the entire duration of this video. 5,500 is an absolute steal. This is another misprice from DraftKings here. 13 goals, 31 assists. Guy does play on that second power play unit, but he's super strong on the 5-on-5. 2 assists, 2 shots on goal, 1 block when he was playing with Eichel and Smith in that last game out versus LA. I don't see that slowing down. I also mentioned to you Shea Theodore and where my thoughts are with him. He's only 5,200, so another misprice. So I really love those Vegas defenders. Next up, we have Tony DeAngelo for Philly. Now, the thing with Philly is I think Ristolainen is out, and I think there's going to be a lot of ice time for that first unit with Provorov and DeAngelo. DeAngelo will be on the first power play unit. Now, one thing I do know about Tortella, the new coach for the Philadelphia Flyers, is he loves bringing one of his defenders up into the offensive tack. He did it all throughout his career at Columbus. We saw Rowinski and Seth Jones be a big vital part of being assist providers, shots from the top of the blue zone. Just gonna be involved with this offensive attack, and I don't think New Jersey is going to be that dominant on the puck. I think Philadelphia is going to have a chance here to put shots on net from the top of the zone, and I think DeAngelo is going to be that guy. I think he's going to have a lot of ice time. 10 goals, 41 assists for DeAngelo last year, 11 goals, 50 assists, excuse me. And I just think it's going to be a much better situation for him with Tortella in the Philadelphia Flyers. All right, value D, the FSI special here. We love our punt defenders, right, boys? For all the subscribers in the chat that know what I'm talking about, we love them blocks, baby. All right, Tindori, going to be our Black Hawk here. Look at this guy. It looks like he's going to take a few off the teeth this year. We're going block upside here in his first time out. Tindori only had 1 block, but he had 2 shots on goal. So there might be some upside here if he can get to 2 or 3 shots on goal, get the 3 block bonus, and there you go. 2,700, you're over 10 fantasy points, and that's exactly what we love doing. I think it provides upside in GPP formats, especially if you have a lot of duds at the top, and it's hard for defenders to provide assists and goals, and to try to yes, there are stacks that you take with Cal Makar and Roman Yossi, and you want these guys in on your power play stacks, and yes, they have higher floors, but if my guy hits the ceiling and your guy hits the floor, I have 4,000 in salary savings everywhere else, right? So that's the thing we try to do and try to teach to the subscribers, and we try to nail, because if we nail someone like Tindori getting to that 12-point threshold, it could be pivotal if you get the rest of the lineup right. So he's going to be facing a ton of shots versus Vegas today. I think the 3 block upside is definitely there, and maybe a few shots on goal, maybe 1 or 2, and that'll get us to the mark. Because I think DraftKings is starting to get savvy with our punt blocks, because I noticed a lot of guys in the 4K, Lindgren, who else here? Dumoulin, Palic, Harmonic was another guy. We were playing some of these guys in like the low 3K range, and they were just getting those 4 or 5 block shots per game. Boom, that was it. And now they're starting to get smart and starting to get some of these guys paying up. Fun stuff there. All right. Let's get on to goalie and wrap this up. All right. We have a few probables out there. I think Jari is fine. I don't think you're going to face a lot of shots versus Arizona, but the shutout upside is definitely there. It's just I don't think he hits his ceiling if they score 2 and he has 20 saves. So I don't think 8,500 is worth it if that is the outcome, right? Aiden Hill, same story. Chicago, they still have Patrick Kane. They still can put shots on goal. And if Hill can get to that shutout with 30 saves, then yeah, he's going to pay off that 8,400 price tag. But I think what we're looking for is we're looking for shots on that. I love Samsonov versus his former team in Washington. We have Ovechkin there. There's still a lot of shots on goal upside with that $8,100 price tag. And I think Toronto wins tonight. So there's your win bonus. I think people are going to play Saros versus Dallas because a lot of the shots on goal. Nashville, a decent defensive team, really good home ice advantage, but I'm not thrilled about the matchup. Fleury versus the Rangers, I'm not thrilled about that matchup either. New York has just a lot of firepower, but I see people going to Fleury in this home matchup. But man, Rangers look pretty good versus the Lightning in the last matchup. Cal Peterson, love this play. See, if you played Gibson, oh man, and I was all over the Gibson call last night. 44 saves, gave up a few, but man, 44 saves and an overtime win. It was awesome. Really came home clutch for us. I'm going to go with Cal Peterson versus that same Seattle. Excuse me, my alarm. All right, so I'm going to go with the same approach with the Seattle matchup here, with them putting up that many shots on goal. I think Cal Peterson and the Kings are actually going to be pretty decent this year. They played really well versus the Vegas Knights last time out. So Cal Peterson probably going to be my cash goalie on the slate. And I think he provides really good upside. There's win upside there. There's shots on goal upside there. So I think you can go Shesterkin. I mean, he's obviously the best goalie in the league when healthy. Minnesota on the road. Yeah, I could see people going to Shesterkin. He's really good and he can stop anyone. Minnesota, not the most consistent team. So I could see that. So he's live for GVPs. Craig Anderson, former Senator, now with the Sabres. I like that little revenge matchup there. I could see people going to him in GVPs, but I think it's risky. And then last but not least, we'll talk a little bit about the New Jersey-Philadelphia matchup. I think you could go Blackwood to be different. I could see people going to Carter Hart in this matchup, thinking Philly's going to, face a lot of shots and have the win upside, but these are some risky options here. If you are on the right side of it, though, you could win GPPs if one of these guys overperforms and gets the win for their team, and you have all that salary savings down here at this low 7 range. Okay, that'll wrap things up. Thank you guys for listening in. Please like and comment below. With any questions you may have. You can join our Discord. Guys are always active in the NHL Discord here at FSI. You can find that link in our bio at FSI DFS on Twitter or on our website, FSIDFS.com. Shout out McKinley. Thanks for letting me pump one video in for the boys. All right, everyone. Enjoy your slate. See you all for Coors.